Hello all and welcome back to the channel. As you can see here, we are in iRacing. We are in the Ray FF 1600. We are at Road Atlanta running the short course here. But the day has finally come for all iRacing people. A day we thought we would never get here. But it has finally come. Rain has been released in iRacing. And something that's been so highly anticipated from everybody. Obviously there's been a load of content on it from everybody basically under the sun, trying to give their 2 cents for it and everything like that. This video is probably not going to be that. We take this car around this track, and then we take the Ferrari 296 around Sebring just to try it out a little bit, see how it feels and what it looks like, and really that's about all we're going to do. We're not going to get too in depth or anything like that. It's more just to kind of get a feel for it. See what it kind of looks like a little bit, what kind of some of the tendencies are, everything like that. And yeah, so really with the reason why I picked the Formula Ford here is I wanted to try something that doesn't have a lot of aero, something that doesn't have a lot of power, and just kind of really ease into it, where I can get a feel for what the car is trying to do with the weather. And really, I should say I did run a few laps before this video version of it, so I had at least some inkling of what was going to go on, and I can tell you glad I did that, because in the trial run I did for the few laps, one of the things that really stuck out is the mental aspect that it's going to take to race in the rain, more so than anything else that I've really done. As far as rain in other sims or in iRacing in general, it's very tricky. You have to really focus on your lines. You have to really pay attention to where the puddles are. All the weather I did for this was static, so it was pretty much the same lap after lap, but it still didn't feel the same lap after lap, which was really interesting. And I think, again, that's where it's going to be kind of tricky. But if you're in a session where the weather is changing throughout the course of a race, that's going to make it even more tricky. So this section right here, the downhill into this chicane at the backstretch, I found out too in my testing that you cannot brake on the normal racing line. So when I was coming down the hill, I just wanted to see what it would do, and it was instant death. The car literally would spin. I tried different brake biases to see if maybe that had anything to do with it, but it literally was just the fact that I was on the normal racing line, the rubbered in section, and trying to brake, and that was not gonna work at all. So once I moved over to the left and tried that, then it worked a lot better. But also, it again, going back to the lines, how far left and right you go, because again, if you went too far to the left, there was no grip over there as well either, and you ran into the same issue as far as braking capacity. The back end wanted to come around and you were trying to catch it. So very important to pay attention to what you're doing, and I think that's what's going to make this racing really tricky, but also very fun and very rewarding at the same time too, because when you get it right or you run well in it, it'll make you feel a lot better. You'll see a couple times here I'll get a little bit too far to the left and just run into some issues braking, but luckily to catch them, I think I go off on one of them. But that's the other thing that I noticed, is that you would assume that with the wet, considering the way it is in the dry, that sometimes there's like a certain slip angle, and if the car gets to that slip angle, there's just no saving it whatsoever. It seems with the rain, at least from what I've found so far, that you are able to save slides and everything, which is a good feeling, because that could obviously make rain really tricky if that wasn't the case. So I found that to be nice. I'm hoping that is a consistent I see in all the different types of cars as well too, that you will have the ability to kind of save any sort of slides or catch any mistakes and everything like that, because naturally if you get offline or you get off the track, curbs are going to be pretty hard, grass is going to be wet, so you're not really going to have any traction or anything like that. The other thing I did notice is puddling. So a lot of the times in some of the other sims, whether it be AMS2 or ACC, you can run into the issue where if you accidentally even put one tire in the puddle, it almost like draws you into it. I didn't seem to notice that. It actually was the case where, again, coming in, see, like I got outside there, and yeah, the car was just not savable at that point. Savable in the sense that you're going to make the corner, so it's just hanging out for dear life and then getting her going again. But where I was going was with the puddling was, in the slower speed stuff, you actually can run through it. Some of the medium to higher speed stuff, you're obviously going to want to stay away from that. But in the slower speed stuff, you are able to go through the puddles, which was a nice surprise. Like I said, with some of the other titles, you don't get to be able to do that. So I think this is just really awesome. They did a fantastic job with it. I think obviously there's still some improvement stuff, and we'll have to see. It's easy to run some test laps and be like, oh man, this is great. Obviously, once week 13 ends and you get into kind of some season stuff and running actual rain races and everything like that, then that will be more of a telling point of where they're at with it. But I think for where they're at, I know a lot of us were wanting this for quite some time, and I'm glad they took their time and really put a lot of work into it. So appreciate all the staff at iRacing for doing that. Obviously, was work well worth it. So we definitely appreciate that. But yeah, so again, I'm not going to talk the whole time or anything like that. I just wanted to get some of my thoughts out there real quick. As far as what I've noticed in my very limited testing, but it'd be interesting to know what a lot of you are thinking about it. For those that have tried it, how you're getting on with it, what cars, tracks you tested. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be running Sebring as far as their first laps and tests with the endurance event coming up, the 12-hour. Everyone's going to be trying to prep for that, because I would be surprised if that event went on and there was no rain during it, considering all the work that's gone into the Tempest engine and everything like that for the rain. So yeah, like I said, let me know, cars, tracks, what you're thinking about it. What do you think is going to be the pro and con? What series are going to be fun? Are you worried about your SR? I'm not. I know it's going to be what it's going to be, whether it's rain or dry. So I think it's going to add a nice spice to endurance events, which will be really nice, because those can get boring sometimes when it's just basically hot lapping on a stint. So yeah, as always, thanks everybody for taking the time to watch. Like I said, we'll finish up with the FF 1600, and then we go on to the 296 at Sebring, so you can fast forward to that if you want and don't want to watch the Formula Ford. So thanks all, appreciate it, take care, we'll talk to you soon, bye.